Hello, Internet, and thank you very much for tuning into another episode of Cloud Native FM. Once again, we started a live series discussion on this channel where you learn Kubernetes, DevOps, platform engineering, and generative AI for the last 3 years. And I started a little bit new special episode for you guys just to let you know what the other world is actually keep chasing up to the new and latest trend in the cloud native and other ecosystems as well. So today's discussion is a live AMA. You can join the conversation, ask question live on the chat, and I have a special guest with me on this channel. He has his own YouTube channel, so I'm actually introducing him in a very small amount, in a very small time from now. So here's the agenda for today. If you're just tuning into the YouTube channel now, what happened when the DevOps, Gen AI, cloud, on prem, and platform engineering collide together. The boundaries between infrastructure engineering and AI are rapidly disappearing. Developers are using AI coding assistant. DevOps teams are experimenting with AI agents. And the platform teams are building self service infrastructure. Enterprises are running workload across public cloud, private cloud, and on prem environment. And now we are asking a big question today on this episode. What does the future of DevOps look like when AI becomes a part of the engineering stack? Once again, join Cloud Native FM for the live AMA. We will bring you and up you speed with the DevOps engineering, platform engineering, cloud architect, Gen AI, and infrastructure team together for an own open conversation about what actually happening in this field. What we are going to talk about cloud, particularly the multi-cloud, on-prem and hybrid infrastructure, DevOps, and platform engineering, generative AI, bit of supply chain security, and bit of everything. So let me go straight to wonderful guest of mine for this time, and he's appearing on Cloud Native FM for the very first time. So join me in welcoming my special guest for this episode, Dr. Umar Khan. Thank you very much for joining, Dr. Umar. It's been pleasure talking to you on this YouTube channel. Been following your channel for a while, and finally have a time to sit with you and learn from you where you are, what you are chasing, and where you are busy these days. But first off, give us a very quick intro to our guest and everyone watching today. Who is Dr. Umar Khan and what he is up to these days? Up to you now.
Okay, Mr. Sain, thank you very much for a very energetic start. I'm really impressed by your energy. So, my name is Muhammad Umar Khan. Um, thank you. So, currently, I'm working as an assistant professor. I'm teaching programming, data science, AI, and recently we have built up a multi-modal, lightweight AI software for Alzheimer detection using multimodality and cloud applications. So this is our new startup, and we are working on it. And Alhamdulillah, that software has been deployed on the cloud. So we are chasing it. We are trying to introduce it into the hospitals. So this is like what's happening in my life right now. And obviously, we are doing trainings. I'm providing Python trainings. I'm providing cloud trainings. We are having many clouds around us. We are working on AI engineering, data science applications. We are working with Gen AI applications. We are trying to build the agents, chatbots using multimodality. So this is what we are trying to do.
Awesome, wonderful. It's very, very wonderful introduction. And I think the work you have been doing has been specially very, very special because it's the healthcare and one of the very, I think it's been a toughest job to actually build any solution for the healthcare industry for the provider. So I think this seems a rarity in our region, and luckily some people are actually adding a lot of the investment and time in building really high performant and the much needed innovation in this space as well. So first thing first, we collided, I think, in the same city, in the same place last week, and I saw you doing some trainings on the Azure, and we collided sometime, and that's where we're thinking like, why not we can do some live sessions, because some of the stuff we have been really talking on some of the private setting is really being a universal problem these days. And so thankfully you are now live with me. Tell us a little bit about some of the training you have done, and particularly the last one you did on the Azure 104. I think it's been one of the toughest in the Azure. What was the overall experience on that? I know it's been tough. It's been one full day of energy investment at the time, but still you are finally, I think, out of that very hectic routine finally. So what is the overall feedback, one of the things you taught about, and what is the overall certification landscape in Azure these days?
So I think that the trainings are very tough, not only for the trainees but also for the trainers, because we need to, cover up, 40 hours of training, okay, and we need to be active for 8 hours a day, and that's a very very hectic routine.
Absolutely.
So, and we do not only have to cover the theory, we also work with the hands-on, and working on the cloud at real time. It's a very challenging. Not only because of the network here in Pakistan, but also because of the electricity shutdowns and many things we need to cater for. But obviously, that's a very, very unique experience, not only for the trainers but also for the trainees. So, talking about AZ-104, basically it refers to the administration domain of the cloud, and it refers to basically the Azure, which is the cloud coming from the Microsoft. So and it refers to basically how we can govern the administration related to containers, related to the users, related to the application insights, and how we need to manage the resources in terms of the compute, because compute is a very very powerful thing right now, and it's very expensive, and you need to, not only the deployment is the challenge, but also you need to continuously monitor it, and you need to optimize it in terms of cost, because when the vendor comes to you, it does not only needs the application or the development from your side, it also needs a cost effective solution.
Yes.
So Microsoft provides you, the whole landscape where you can manage that cost and the compute and the deployment of various VMs with respect to this AZ-104 course. And not only this, on a technical level, on the developer side, you can interact with the cloud on, I think, two or three platforms. That is one in the GUI, one with respect to the CLI, and one with respect to the discussion that we are having on the other day, that the Terraform and ARM templates, which is now deprecated, but by the Bicep is a new major thing. So AC covers, I think, these type of things, and we have discussed all of these things not only with respect to the theory, but we have done the hands-on.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for explaining it. And I think anybody listening to us or they want to engage with Dr. Umar after the conversation, he can join him on the LinkedIn as well, because he has a very extensive experience on the training side as well. And I think right now the cloud is in a very much demand. I think one of the Gen AI outcome was is to let people know then the compute is not ready on your local environment. You have to buy instance in the cloud. You need GPUs, you need infrastructure, and that is need auto scaling, high provisioning stack, the high availability. And this is very tough to actually set it up on on-prem environment. And luckily, some people figuring it out. This is the time now or never to actually go into the cloud, and the training in upskilling the individual is a higher velocity. And I think it's a very tough job, but it's a very It's a job where you learn a lot, and a job where you sometimes frustrate a lot. It's a job where you have always been questioning around the topic. So if you have actually been listening and wanted to catch up, and Dr. Umar have some wonderful YouTube videos on his YouTube channel, also you can join the conversation to see what he's up to as well. So I would do another question, Umar, and I think that is really the need right now. I think there's a three things happening currently. Is like one is like people trying to figure it out, like which is the best cloud for us. And then some are actually an on-prem setup. Then there are some multi-cloud, then there's the on-prem cloud. And as a Kubernetes have a very large learning curve. And on top of it, the generative AI is actually adding some of the enhancement as well. So, Umar, what is your actually response if someone asking you, "Oh, we are very new into this ecosystem and we wanted to speed it up"? What was the onboarding for them? Like, what should they do? Like, they start from the cloud. How should they learn some of the things? Because cloud is been sometime tough. You have to create account, and the account have to set up properly. An individual who actually jumping in, they have a very much problem. Oh no, I'm running something, I'm hitting something, and there's error. I couldn't do this because my account doesn't have the privileges to do this. So in terms of there's a two hidden question into this one. What is the onboarding time for this individual one jump into the Azure or other cloud provider? And number two, how they actually hit the hand-on experience in their own in their own setup, in their own laptop. What are the possible solution for them?
Yeah, that's a very tricky question, and I think there are two ways to answer this question. So, I think the first one is referring to a developer who is new on the cloud, and the one who is new on the cloud, I think that it's not pretty tough, but obviously this is a new environment, so you need to be, very very comfortable with the menus, with the dashboard that you are having. But I think talking about one of the cloud, that is Azure, uh, starting for a developer, I think it's very very easy, and you do not need to worry about the cost because they provide you up to $200 credit, and that you can utilize up to 30 days. And the same goes with the Amazon, with the Google Cloud as well. Like the trial basis, they are free. And I think that it's very very important that in these 30 days or the free trial period, and it's very easy that you can learn the basics of the clouds, and you can get familiar with deploying the VMs, with deploying the resource blocks, with deploying the containers, how you need to work with the classical algorithms, because now we are pacing very very fast, introducing the Gen AI. I think that that's a very tricky thing, and we are having a very fast pace, so that's why some of the clouds may be far behind, because now there is existence of two type of AIs. So I refer to them, one is the gold method, and the second one is the generative AI. So when I say the gold method, that is basically the old classical algorithms which were trained on your local data, on your tiny data, on the domain that you are working on. And that is a very, I think, a gold mine that we still need to explore, because right now what is happening, everyone is trying to apply the Gen AI, apply the agentic AI on all the solutions that they are working. The solution is very very small. Okay, it can be solved with this, with the simple agent, or with the simple classical machine learning method. So why you need to go towards the Gen AI or generating complexity behind us? Because it is not, at the end of the day, it's the computational complexity or the inference time that you are dealing with. It also relates to the cost. So going
Yes.
back to the first question, cost is very very important. So in this way, I think that to learn the cloud is very very easy. I have a whole, I think, 40 hours course on YouTube where you can learn the basics of the clouds. I start with a very very scratch of the data science life cycle. What is the data science life cycle? How you need to acquire the data, and even that before, what is the data? We need to understand what is data. So once you are done with the understanding of the data, you need to, acquire the data. That is the data acquisition. You need to clean it. So that is the whole cycle up to the deployment, and I have covered that in 40 hours course. And I think once you are done with that course, you are very, very, flexible to deploy your solution. I always say that right now, to implement your idea is not a challenge. In 30 minutes, you can just make your idea live on production and people are using it. Right now, the challenge is, what is the idea actually? And what is the business logic? What is the business case? And how you are going to, generate the revenue out of it? What is the novelty in it? What is the innovation in it? So deploy an idea, as you have said, that on premises you do not have anything, but on the cloud you are having everything, and you can just deploy it in 30 minutes. That's very, very easy thing.
Oh yes, absolutely, totally agree with you. And I think you hit a very good point, because I think a lot of the focus is right now on the technical aspect of the cloud moving. If some of the companies is really having a difficulty in balancing the cost on the on-prem environment, and then trying to figure it out, would cloud will be the solution that they can reduce the cost from, or the operational cost from the human and the operational cost from the infrastructure side, can this be reduced by going into the cloud? But I think a lot of the is a shift is, and the knowledge is right now, as you mentioned, is on the technical aspect of it. And we know in the cloud there's so much other stakeholders involved in it. Do we really actually have the liberty to move something into the cloud? Are we working in a regulated setup where the data is crucial? Are my company is resilient enough to actually allow me to put the data into the cloud environment? So that's need of debate in itself. When moving from on-prem to the cloud, another thing distinction to make, how to balance the cost barrier. Like some companies say, oh, on-prem is tough for us, but we are reducing our cost. On the moving into the cloud, yes, we are mm, giving away our operational cost to somebody else, but there's a more cost we need to actually take account for. So I think there's a more than just a technical aspect, the business aspect, the stakeholders, and I think sometimes developers and the DevOps engineer resistant because they love where they are. And if you move them to some other newer technologies, you give them the knowledge and the skill set. And that's where I think Umar has a YouTube channel and where we can actually learn from, as he mentioning, the 40-hour course is available and some other resources. I link them on the YouTube channel, so you go and watch that out as well. Because right now I see that the Gen AI is actually created the hustle that the cloud is for everyone. Everyone need to have the practical, typical, or the basic knowledge of the cloud and deploying stuff into the cloud. Previously, we have roles like cloud architect, the DevOps engineer. They actually cares a lot about the infrastructure, but the developers say, I don't care. I have a team that can actually help me set this up. But now we asking developers, your job is as a DevOps. You need to know how to deploy stuff in the cloud. You need to know the Elastic Container Service or the Azure Container relevant service. You need to know the Kubernetes services in the cloud, because you just not even need to understand how the application is packaged. The deployment is also a very crucial aspect to it as well. So I think the learning curve is kind of a shifted towards developers and the DevOps, and that is actually, I think, is people need to upskill themselves, and that's where we see the trend of more on the certification right now. People try to go for the certification. Sometimes people find it very hard because some certification need a real hands-on, and it's very tough for the jobbers who have 9 to 6 job, and then you ask them to learn something new after the 6 p.m. and that's with their time. They say, "Oh my God, I have some other family and other routine work to do." So, over to you once again, Umar. I think another question here. is what about, I think there's a true distinction happening in the industry right now. One, we live in a world where we're trying to abstract
I
our
think your voice is lagging behind.
okay. Can you hear me again?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, got it. I'm just saying, like, we live in an industry right now a little bit like where people trying to abstract things behind the Gen AI, and there's a lot of confusion in the industry. We have break news like, oh, Anthropic AI went rogue, Open AI went rogue, where I think that's right now there's a huge focus on the cyber security and the supply chain security in general. So, according to Umar, if somebody is using generative AI plus cloud, what are the top risk consideration anybody need to take a look at it, and what is your suggestion for the team who actually colliding DevOps, cloud, and generative AI together? I think, Umar, I lost
And
you,
can you
or
hear me?
yes, absolutely, I can hear you. I think
I
there's
think
some lag
there's a
between us.
lagging between the video.
Yes, but I just say, I think if you're able to hear me in some time in future, I'm just saying, what is the consideration or suggestion you can tell to the viewer who actually working on cloud and generative AI alongside each other?
Yeah, I have understood your question, but the problem was lagging. The video was lagging behind. But I really understand it. What you wanted me to answer. I think that once you are done with the technical stuff that you are dealing with, the most challenging and the most important part is the responsibility, the
Mm,
responsible AI. In terms of Gen AI, it is very, very crucial. And previously, as we were talking about the gold method, those old methods or the classical algorithms, they were not having the power to generate any, text, video, or image. And
mm,
I think that was a blessing in disguise, because right now, the Gen AI, these models, they generate a lot of things,
yes.
and that is, maybe they are fake, like in the case of deep fake things. Okay,
Mm,
so I give an example. For example, you have deployed a new agent that is based on Gen AI, and you take the picture of a food, and you give it to that chatbot and ask him to prepare 5 minutes recipe for you, and they give you all of the recipe. And let's assume for a second that you have given him a picture of a meat, and you have ordered him to make a recipe, or you have asked him to give you a recipe in 5 minutes, and it is cooked in 5 minutes. So that is having some liabilities, because that uncooked meat can bring or can trigger a disease inside your body.
yes.
And that is the harmful aspect of that app that has been generated. On the other hand, there is another example. For example, if you ask that same bot to give you a kitchen recipe to prepare a poison, using the kitchen ingredients. So that's where the harms comes from. In this way, a very, very, dynamic app you have prepared for the kitchen recipes, it turned out to be a poison and death, triggering activity. And I think that is the harmful aspect that we need to deal with in today's world. We need to be very, very careful in generating a solution that generates 0% harmfulness, because the technology is having on a very, very fast pace. So in that fast pace, it's very important, it's very very significant that you must ensure that the solution that you bring onto the cloud, onto the public domains, it should be clean in terms of the harmfulness. So in this case, it comes the responsibility of a developer, of the vendor that comes up with the solution of this kind of activity. So I think that responsible AI is it's a very tricky thing. It's having a very very significance in terms of addressing all of those solutions that the today's developer is working on.
Absolutely, totally agree with you. Once, absolutely, and I think like we live in a cloud. I think uh, when the cloud initially started, there's a concept called share responsibility model is being coined because the vendors tell the customer there's a responsibility on you among the services you consume from us because we are responsible for giving you the infrastructure, but in order to deploy those applications, you have some sort of responsibility as well. And I think right now in a dire need of building such practices in the generative AI. If somebody doing that, please link them on the chat as well, because I think as an industry, there should be some sort of the practical guideline or the part of the template told us if you are in cloud, on-prem, DevOps, generative AI, on-platform engineering, using some sort of the Gen AI capabilities, there's a responsibility on you plus the responsibility of the models we have been consuming. So there should be a policy on the both angle if something has to be compromised. Usually, as a DevOps engineer working on the cloud, we put a barrier in the production environment as in a policy as weapon. Like we build policies, but actually being we do not bypass until those has been validated, and then we deploy something in the production. I think these need to be more and more in the need in the near future as well. So, Omar, just final few questions before we wrap up. I think hoping in the next week there's a new data governance white paper is actually added by the Ministry of IT in Pakistan, and I think we should need to actually dig a really deeper into that paradigm. If they ask us, if they give us that kind of a framework where people can figure it out, the responsibility of AI, responsibility of the technology, and the responsibility of the people operating on it, we definitely want to dig a deeper into that model in the next episode when we live again. But just to wrap up, wrap the episode, how people can find you on the internet. You are a very active person on the internet. You have been teaching Spanish. You are teaching courses on the DevOps, creating videos on the YouTube. So and you actually been doing the research on some of your Alzheimer disease. So there's so many things you have been doing. So people may find to talk with you on a relevant subject. So what is the fastest way to reach you out?
Yeah, I think the fastest way to reach me out, to search on Instagram just by my name, or just type up my name M Umar Khan, and you will find me, I think. And we are also going to give the link on the description. But what important thing is, I want to continue with your discussion is like the policy document that you have talked about, and that is very important, and it is very timely. If you understand, or if you co-relate with the the inauguration of the Sky 47 data center by Pakistan. It is a very timely document, and it refers to the thing that we were talking about, the technology that you are going to deploy on the cloud, and the cost. That is a very very important issue, because in Pakistan, if you want your data to stay inside Pakistan, you also deal with the cost as well,
Absolutely.
because the big giants that are already in this business, they have lowered the cost so much. Okay, so I think that that's a very tough challenge that they need to look into it. And obviously, the Cloud 47, they provides a geopolitics and AI sovereignty, because your data is going to be inside your country. And obviously it is a national project, because our military, our government, that is backed by the regional digital pivot. So I think that's a very good thing. And I think next time we should reflect on geopolitics and AI sovereignty, and the
Yes.
issues related to security, governance, and compliance. And also, as we have said, because everything comes down to the cost, economics, and the
Mm,
infrastructure. And obviously architecture and the technical challenges are the things that need time to evolve, because it is still not clear what type of architecture they are going to deploy on the Sky 47, whether
yes.
it's going to be Azure, it's going to be Amazon, it's going to be Google, or maybe multi-cloud environment. So that's going to be very, very interesting
Yes.
for the people, for the young people who are trying to get the carriers into the cloud progression. So
Mm.
I think the next talk is going to be very, very informative with respect to these policy documents and the Sky 47 cloud.
Absolutely, 100%. Definitely. That we try to do sooner than later on the next stream as well, because I think there's another, because I think one of the other foundational layer is that is like, yes, the data sovereignty is a bigger issue. We don't want our data to be leaked outside, but do we have the cost to build that infrastructure is up, and what are the possible solutions? Like, can we use hybrid setup, like something in the cloud, something your own data center, or kind of integration between your own data center and the public clouds we have on the AWS and Azure? And definitely the next time when we hit live, there's a document written by the Ministry of IT. It's been a very, very well timed, as Umar was saying, as the Sky 47 data center is just recently launched. So once again, I think the next time when we're live, we try to find answers, like, are we ready for the understanding the sheer responsibility model of the cloud, data center, and AI? How are we actually? What are the parameters of the framework we have built today that tell us upfront cost of building all these kind of setup? And number third is the important question, is like, what are the hybrid strategies that exist we can use parallelly if we actually reduce the operational cost and we want to accelerate our sovereign cloud capabilities in our region as well? But there are some other very good topic for the future as well on this YouTube channel as well. And also I will add the Umar YouTube channel on the description as well. You can subscribe to see what he's up to on the daily basis, and what are the new topic he actually putting videos on his YouTube channel as well. But once again, thank you very much, Umar, for actually spending time with me for over 30 minutes right now. I know always have a busy schedule, but in the coming days, there are some topic where we need to put more energy and time on. So you will be busy with me for the rest of the year, and especially for the rest of the August as well.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure, and I'm really thankful that you have also taken out time for this. We were planning it for some days because of our busy schedules. We were not trying to make it up, but finally we did it, and hopefully we are going to continue with it, maybe on the weekly basis. And we are going to talk about the trending issues inside Pakistan and the global issues.
100%. And luckily, we have some very good comments for you. Rabiana is saying, Dr. is such a
Uh-huh.
great treat to watching you explaining tough things so easily and fluently. Thank you very much for actually hanging with us on this YouTube channel as well. So that's the encouragement we want to see. That's give us actually the energy to actually put these live stream going forward. So thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe to the Umar YouTube channel and the Cloud Native FM. And very soon you will be hearing us again with a very, very important topic. And I think we need to put more energy on that as well. before that, you can actually add some comment. What are the topic or the trending topic you want us to cover on this YouTube channel? And we will definitely want our best to answer those as well. Till then, have a wonderful day. Stay blessed, happy, and have a wonderful day.
Stay blessed, Saim. Take care.